Hey guys, welcome back to my series on finding meaning, setting goals, and getting what you want. This video I want to talk about mindset. And so what I'm going to be doing is looking at the brain as an organ. Think about your heart. It's pumping right now, obviously, right? You're still alive. Think about the fact that you're digesting food, right? Your liver is filtering, your kidneys do what they do. All these organs are doing what they do. One of the functions of the brain is literally just to think, okay? So you have, give or take, 40 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And out of these thoughts, 80% of them are going to be negative. And here's the tricky part. Out of that 80%, 95% of them are going to be repetitive. That means if you thought you were a piece of crap today, you probably thought that yesterday. You're probably going to think it a year from now, and there's a possibility that you thought it a year ago, right? And part of the reasoning behind this is because the one function of the brain is to survive, make sure that this giant mechanism survives. And so if it's constantly looking at the worst case scenarios, you're going to have some pretty negative thoughts. We're tribal creatures, so we're going to be judging ourselves to make sure that we fit in so that we're accepted by the tribe, because loneliness is awful. And back in the day when we used to rock it every way out in the street, packing the heat, take me up to my reserved seat. Sorry, a little Busta Rhymes there. Back in the day when you were by yourself, you were more likely to be eaten by something. So the brain thinks very negative thoughts to kind of keep us in line and kind of make sure that there aren't, predators over here or bad things taking place here. So the issue that we run into is that the power of the brain, because it runs everything, right? In the Bible, it talks about how the rudder steers, the tongue is the rudder and it steers the whole ship. Well, what steers the tongue? It's the thought. And so if you look at the environment around you, you're going to know that that is a direct reflection of your thoughts, okay? So remember that the environment around you is a direct reflection of your thoughts. So it's very important to know what you're thinking. And so if you look at the brain, okay, and the fact that it just thinks, so these thoughts are just happening to you, you're not technically having them. It's kind of like lightning. Lightning is something that happens. But if you can harness them, if you can take every thought captive, right? If you can harness lightning, what can you get? Well, you can get a light here, a camera here, some lights over there, right? You get you can harness it and use it to your advantage. And we do the same with thoughts. So I'm going to dig pretty deep into thoughts within this video and the next couple videos. One of the most important things to understand is what self-talk is. These repetitive thoughts, these thoughts that are just happening to us, this is considered self-talk. It's what you're saying to yourself all the time, whether it's about other people or about yourself, about situations or about your family, right? It's important to understand self-talk, and one way to identify the self-talk is through something called mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is nothing more than observing what is going on within you right here, right now, in the present moment. So a couple of ways that you can identify the fact that you're having negative self-talk or negative thoughts is maybe you have negative feelings that you just can't seem to shake. Maybe you, the negative emotions that you're having, maybe you're not lining up with your goals, right? Why is that happening? What is the self-talk behind it? So, and another thing to keep in mind is thoughts don't always just come in words. It's, some people say, I think to myself in my own voice. Well, sometimes you visualize negative things happening, and that's also a thought, right? Maybe you're visualizing getting, not doing well at work, or being rejected by a friend, or, whatever it is you're visualizing that's negative, that too is considered negative self-talk at that point, right? The first thing I would say is give yourself some room. Take some deep breaths, stop and kind of start observing and tracking your thoughts. Give yourself the thing about thoughts, right? We use the lightning analogy, but another way to look at it is they're like clouds. They're just happening. They're going by. And you can observe these thoughts and just watch them go by. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to identify them. You don't have to like them, or maybe you do. Maybe there are some that you enjoy. Maybe you do have good thoughts about. If there's 80% bad, right, that leaves 20% to be good. So identifying with those thoughts, that's a good thing. But in this case, we're talking about negative self-talk. And I'm going to go into this a little bit more, but a saying that I always say is, the problem is not the problem. How you view the problem is the true problem, right? That's all that really matters. So let's say you have an event, something takes place. Your thought on that event is the most important part about the event. And then, because that thought is going to provoke or evoke certain emotions. So if this event is causing negative emotions, look at the thought. What is the thought that I'm having? What am I thinking? What am I believing about this event that took place, right? I would say that 95% of life is literally how you react to life around you. Because, and I say 95 because let's say we make up 10%. And so 90% is all external. We really have no control over anything else. I can't control my wife, can't control my kids, can't control my government, can't control any of that. And then let's say 5% of me, I didn't choose my height, I didn't choose my race, I didn't choose my brain, I didn't choose, I have a heart issue, I didn't choose that. So you look at I didn't choose to be born. Like, that's a weird thing to think about. Like, I didn't even choose to be here. Your belief on the event is more important than the event itself. So meditation and thought tracking is a way of stopping and observing your thoughts and just becoming aware of what the content actually is. Now, many times, just through awareness, you can start changing things. I've had several clients who I told, I stopped asking people to journal because no one does it anymore. So I asked them just to observe and just report what they saw, report what they hear, what they think, all that stuff. They observe their thoughts. I never realized I was thinking that many bad thoughts about myself. I never realized how anxious I was getting before I was going to school or going to work or before I was going to just talk to people. I never realized this stuff. And so just being aware can bring change. I want to give 5 ways to change your negative thoughts, okay? The number one thing is the observation. Pay attention to what you're thinking. Most of the time we're on autopilot. And most of the time we're habitual creatures. We're just creatures of habit who are used to thinking a certain way. The second one is find evidence for the negative thought, right? And I know that's kind of counterproductive because we're trying to change it, we're trying to get rid of it. But really, the truth is the feeling is actually what's causing the thought, not the evidence. We're emotional creatures. We make emotional decisions and then we back it up with logic and then we're like, look, I'm a logical person. The emotional side of our brain is way bigger and develops way sooner than the logical side of our brain. So mindfulness, finding evidence for the negative thought, and then finding evidence against the negative thought. Let's say you made a mistake, whatever that is. You messed up at work, you messed up at school, whatever it is, and you're like, man, I'm such an idiot. Well, okay, just because of that mistake doesn't make you a complete idiot. Maybe you just need to make some progress in this specific area. But that doesn't define your entire being, right? So let's look at the evidence. Okay, well, let's say you're in college. Okay, well, that alone says you're not an idiot. Okay, most idiots don't go to college or something to that effect, or can't go to college. I shouldn't say don't go to college. There's plenty of smart people who don't go to college. Now you're not using feelings, you're using logic at that point. And you're saying, okay, well, all this stuff stacks up and it says I am smart. I got an A in this class. I did well in this class. I'm pretty smart when it came to putting this thing together at my house. I was able to help these people. All these positive facts. Oh, you're not an idiot. You just need to progress better in math or something like that. Identifying a more accurate, accurate, and here's the big thing, accurate and helpful thought, okay? Are the negative thoughts you're having, are they actually helpful? Probably not, okay? Why are you holding on to them if they're not helpful, if they're not helping you line up with your goals? Okay, so this is what we call solution focus. Don't focus so much on the problem. We're very problem focused. Stop focusing just on the problem. Focus on a solution, right? What is a more helpful, positive, goal-oriented thought that you can have? And the fifth thing that I would say is notice the difference in how you feel. Notice what you do differently. Okay? So those are the five, right? Those are the five things you can start using today to start changing some of these negative thoughts. Now, in my next video, I'm going to be talking about core beliefs, why we believe what we believe. So I'm going to go into that in my next video. Like, subscribe, follow, stay tuned for what's next, and let me know if there's anything else you want to hear about, or I'd like to know what you think about these videos at some point. If you'd like to comment, thank you.